Okay, so it's only 2 days after 2025, so I just wanted to do a quick kind of flip through of what my 2024 looked like and how I filled it out for the Artist of Life Workbook for 2024, created by Lavender herself. Well, I think that's her business name, but so I like to kind of fill out my year. This is just a quote because I'm actually a preschool teacher, support staff, and so I like to kind of put stickers, kind of create a scrapbook out of the Artist of Life workbook. I like to add little quotes and I also like to add what my year is in regards to numerology. You can look up like what numerology number your year is currently and kind of base off your goals off of that numerology if you're interested into that. But also because I started with Lavender's Artist of Life workbook in 2019, so I kind of already know all the like instructions. So sometimes I do like to cover up things that I just don't really see the use of in regards to like the table contents. So as you see, I like to 2023 for me was year 7. So then I kind of use the numerology to kind of see the basis or reflect if the numerology actually matched what actually happened in the year. And if you haven't never ordered the Artist of Life work from Lavender, it starts out from having to reflect on the past year, and every question is the same for every book, which I think some people have complained about it, but I think this actually gives you a basis of a controlled questions to kind of and be able to look back on every year if you decide to actually keep purchasing this every year. And so like 2024 for me was actually year 8. This is actually really helpful for me as a personal year, because then I write about like what the focus should be if I kind of trail off from my focus and I go back to this. So numerology can kind of help you to kind of recenter yourself. And for me, 2024 was more about doing, making, and achieving. And again, like I said, the theme is kind of the same in regards to like the questions. But I think this is actually super helpful because it helps you for every year to have a basis, and then when you look back you can actually see what things changed, how your goals shifted, what stayed the same in regards to your involvement, what you focused on continuously. Maybe there's something you had a goal of and you've like not consistently fulfilled it, so it can give you a direction on that's not a goal for me, that's not something that's important for me. But I know in 2023 I actually covered up this page, but I still thought it was helpful, so I underlined it. And I also used photos on like this photo printing thing I found on Amazon, but it's actually sucky because the photos, as you can see, started to fade. And I'm not sure if that's because I taped over the actual photo, but I still like the idea of like printing things that I'm inspired by. These were like photos I found on Pinterest. This was actually an old man and a mermaid and kids laughing, and I kind of wanted to use my vision board as like the feeling I wanted for my vision for 2024. So that could be something you could be inspired for by yourself. I use this as just a basis of like kind of mind mapping of where I am and then where I want to be. Like this part, like I said before, is all the same, but it helps you if you look back on the about me. If you do this consistently, you might see what stays the same. Of like it's I think it's especially interesting in regards to like what you put in. So I think questions on reflecting on your year and what you want your year to be is actually really helpful because it gives you like a control group, and then this thing that shifts are your answers, and so you can actually see your growth. A lot of people think this is really boring, but I think it's actually helpful because then you can actually see how you stay the same and how you actually change throughout the year. And then my negative self-talk, I actually went back and I crossed out what my negative self-talk is, and I changed it what I want my new talk to be to myself. Also, I will say, in regards to filling this out, I would advise to fill it out like one page at a time and not just like sitting down in one go, because I think that is part of, I've tried that before and it gets numbing. So my advice is, if you find this first part of the activity really boring, it could be actually helpful to like actually set up a time when you actually have the energy to really reflect and some alone time. Then it won't feel like this is a task that's boring. And then in 2024 goal, I went back to this page and I kind of put in what I focused on. It gives you ideas of the following areas you can focus on, but you can also look at what you actually focused on or what you need to focus on. And dream life, I also used inspiration from like printing out photos, but as you can see, a lot of the photos faded, but interesting, the number 888 didn't. But yeah, my numerology was 888, so I used the angel number 888 as kind of my focus for the year. And I like this because you can actually go into like what you want to organize, and I started putting in what I actually did and what maybe I want to go to fix in the for 2025. So it can be a really good way, especially if you're a person who's like organized or likes to, space is actually really important to you, so it could be a really great way to like organize and focus your actual space of what you want to build upon it, like shelving, bed storage, kitchen cabinets, all that kind of stuff. This part is actually new from the last couple of years, and I actually like this because it helps like knowing what your main goal is or areas, and so I kind of used like the areas that she recommended you to focus on, and then I used those areas to kind of provide a why and how to my year. And I think that this is actually my favorite part of the 2024 Artist of Life workbook, because I think having a goal, it kind of shifts and changes, so knowing the why and how is actually really important. And then I have my bucket list, which honestly I struggle with this page because I tend to I feel like I don't finish what I want to do, or I just fill up what I think I want to do, but then sometimes it doesn't seem to occur at all. So I used the year at a glance. This year I used it as like what I accomplished or what factors happened or what I focused on. And I mean, you can tell like some months I didn't fulfill. So I think the recommendation for the Lavender Artist of Life workbook, I would say you have to have this, not this specific page, but you have to have this book like on your desk open at all times. Otherwise, I've noticed in the past I don't finish the books at all. And then for this year, the weekly breakdown, I just for the week, anything that was interesting that happened, any quotes that I felt was like big parts in the week. So that's kind of how I based off the weekly and just created more of a creative project out of the Artist of Life workbook. For me, I've always struggled with a habit tracker and the daily tracker, so I would always have this page open on my desk to remind myself to actually fill it out, because there were times like I would forget, and then that's when there's a lot of blank pages from like past Artists of Life workbooks. So that is why like this year I really was like, I want to fill up this whole book. And I would say if you're more of a visual person, definitely like maybe look into kind of like photography or capturing little Instagram style square photos of your February or monthly highlights if you don't enjoy actually writing down and remembering all that stuff. This is when I started focusing on like the top 3 things to improve based off the actual chart. And then I actually I started using different colors to see like what actually improved, and I think that also helped me to see visually like what I actually focused on, what increased and what lowered, and what I needed to still work on in the quarterly themes. And then for the gratitude journal, I changed it. I like to change it up a little. I used it more of like what I like to do to help me understand like what my interests are, what I'm more inclined to actually enjoy, to kind of, I used it as more of a way to get to know myself through my joys. And this was actually a cute little, I think it was from Amazon or maybe Etsy. So yeah, I would say if you want the experience with the Artist Life workbook to be more fun, definitely provide your own personality to it. But I think stickers and photos really help because the whole point of it is to get you inclined to actually fill it out and get excited about that. And I would even say with the main goals and mini goals, my advice is to not fill it out right away, and to like maybe throughout the month, maybe you'll have a new goal, mini goal that you can put in, or maybe you'll have a new main goal, and it can help you like see how you shift your focus and your attention and your goals. This is also something I was trying out different for highlights section, where I found something on Pinterest that was like basically like a journal entry inspiration, but based like what I was inspired by in the month, what I was watching in the month, what I was reading in the month, what I was thinking about, listening to, blah blah. I think this could be a really great way to add consecutively for each month. And like, yeah, you can see that I didn't fill this out, so this was a part like I was inconsistent with. And here I wasn't consistent and I kind of dropped out. And here too I kind of just lost touch. I guess in this month I decided to go back to, well, I started doing like what I'm grateful for. I'm thankful for this, I'm grateful for this, but then it turned into, oh, I actually prefer saying I love this, I like that as a gratitude. Because I feel like when I say I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm looking for things I'm grateful for versus like what I actually enjoy. And yeah, so like this was from a packaging I really liked from something I ordered on Etsy, so I just would put things to kind of fill out empty space. Yeah, September wasn't best. I don't know what happened in September. And yeah, you can see like I don't put too much pressure if I don't have a lot to focus on, or don't try to like fill out the whole thing. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. And then this is from a Nintendo Switch, so I kind of just like to fill out things. This was I started taking classes, and just like things I find. But yeah, as you can see, I totally didn't do week 1, so I just put a little thing. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. But I would say for the weeklies, if you have trouble with that, it's just like focusing on like either what you do or putting stickers or like things you liked about your day. And yeah, and here like there's a space here, but I didn't let that like ruin the rest of my tracking. And you can always like shift or change pages that are more aligned with what your focus is for the month. Then November, and here we are at December. And I actually had the 4th week off because I work in preschool school, so we have after Christmas we actually have it off. And this is just like cute little tea bag things that I really like the messages of, so I put them in there.